Was instrumental in helping us with our first appointment that we are going to announce on today. Can I ask you all to just come on up? Come on up. And pull us to you. And Vanessa, can you come over here, please? And get a little tired. Yes, yes. Let me just start by saying good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us for the latest in this ongoing series of appointments as the Parker administration continues and strives every day to create a safer, cleaner, greener city with access to economic opportunity for all. That means that recruiting and appointing senior level talent to the Parker administration will definitely take lots of time, diligence, and creativity. We respond to numerous inquiries and spend countless hours and days finding that talent, interviewing candidates, and then hiring what I like to call the best and the brightest to help to lead us through our 4-year term. And when I started just saying out loud the time, the interviewing, I start saying Vanessa, Sincere, Tiffany, and where's Crystal? Oh, Crystal, we all praises to Crystal today. She's been working extremely hard. With today's announcements, we're going to bring the total to over 100 officials and senior staff to continue leading this administration and this city on a promising path. But we are not done. We are never done. We will continue to look for the right people, for the right positions, at the right moments to serve every resident of Philadelphia. And the first announcement that we are making today is for a vitally important position here in the city of Philadelphia. That is the position of Commissioner of the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, and you hear us refer to it as DBIDS. You hear residents in the city refer to it as DBIDS for short. I don't know, and it's really interesting, I don't know of any issue that we've ever addressed here in the city of Philadelphia, particularly during my tenure, that this office doesn't play an essential role in helping the city formulate policies, procedures, protocols on how it impacts everything that it is that we do. And when we were searching for who the right person will be, you know that long, cumbersome process that people referred to when I first arrived, when it came time for us to select who the commissioner would be, police commissioner, who the fire commissioner would be, who the managing director would be. People noticed that I added a layer, quite frankly, that formally and officially had not been in existence during this process, maybe informally, but never, it became a formal part of our decision-making process for these senior level executive positions, and that was to make sure that the subject matter experts who knew the industry inside and out were a part of that calculus. And in this instance, we called on two people who, can never be replaced, who both did a yeoman's job. And one of them is Dr. Arthur Evans. Please give Dr. Arthur Evans a round of applause. Doc, if you're watching, thank you. I called you in the wee hours of the morning on the weekend. We Zoomed, we talked, and I want you to know that we're so grateful for the time and energy you put into this. But the next subject matter expert who we called on, we've been communicating with since we arrived. She understood the urgency because, quite frankly, and she'll hate to hear me say this, she is in essence the mother of creating the most unique mental and behavioral health managed care system, not just in the city of Philadelphia, not just in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but quite frankly, in the nation. She is a local, state, national, and global expert in health and human services. And I want to say now, I'm sorry I called you so much. I'm sorry. But we would not be here without her. And before we announce who the individual is who's been selected for this role, I want her to talk to you about this industry's impact on all we do as a city. Give a huge, warm round of applause for our teacher, the legendary, living legend, Estelle Richmond.
Thank you so much. The only correction I have, Madam Mayor, is I'm probably now the grandmother. I've been around a long time, as many of you know. I first came in the city under Mayor Good and worked for Mayor Good until Mayor Rendell came in. And basically have worked and been committed to the city, no matter where I've been in the country. My commitment, I live in, I have what I call, I have a stake in the ground here, so everything that goes on, I want to be involved in, and I've tried. Just so people, why I'm a grandmother and working towards the great, I'll be 82 in a couple of months. And what I want to say to you is never give up. Systems can change, systems grow, systems evolve. So I've seen the Philadelphia behavioral health system and the IDS system with all its great things it's done, and it's been many, all of the things that it's done, all the warts and all of the problems, and we've always worked through them. We've always found a way to make sure the residents of the city of Philadelphia come first, and that they are the most important part of what we all do. And many of you are connected one way or another to that system. Many of you are almost getting the gray hair I have, and were some of the first people I hired when in the system. So to all of you, thank you. And I don't, because there are many of you.
A lot of careers created.
A lot of careers here. There's actually one of you who was here with me when I closed Philadelphia State Hospital, which goes back almost even further. Yeah, she knows who I'm talking about. But this is a system that has reached national attention because of things we do are not replicated anywhere else. We formed a point in time. We took advantage of that point in time, and we're able to grow our system, starting with the closure of Philadelphia State Hospital. Thank you, Mary Hurdick, who led some of that effort. And at that point, we were able to double our budget. Do you know what going from 40 million to 80 million does to a system? It makes it different. It gives you the leverage to be able to do and see things. We were able to look at the system in a way that helped it not only to grow, but its involvement. I think the mayor's reference that everything that happens in some way involves the system as a whole. Let me give you a quick example. I was working in the Office of Mental Health, and for some of you very old timers, there was a SEPTA accident under 30th Street station. It was a pretty horrendous accident, and people died and were hurt. And I called the emergency manager and said, "Do you want mental health workers there?" And they said, "We don't think we need you." And then about 10 minutes later, they said, "We have a hysterical 13-year-old here, and we don't know what to do with her. And we have these people over here that seem to be frozen. Can you come quick?" And what I learned from that is that we are involved, either in a supportive relationship, a direct relationship, or, quote, a cleanup relationship. And part of what we all need to be concerned about is how to fit. what's going on? How do we support? How do we make the change? And how do we stay bold? It's very easy some days to say, that's not our lane. Everything is our lane if it will help people and help them get better. So,
Estelle, please, for the benefit of the audience, I've just asked her for the benefit of the audience because I just mentioned her in 2 roles, and there are other people like saying 5 other roles. Can you talk about what roles you held here in the city, in the state, and then in the feds?
yes.
Thank you.
As I said, I'm a little old. I came in, and my first job was actually working for the state under Governor Casey, the father, working in, at that point, DPW, with the responsibility of the Southeast, so all 5 counties. I have to tell you, there was probably nothing in that job I liked. It was tough every way around. So when the opportunity came up to transfer and work as the Director of Mental Health from the city, I jumped on it. So at that point, I became Director of Mental Health for the city. Rendell became mayor. He, at that point, asked me to, we had another MHMR administrator there. He asked me to stay. I did. The system changed again in leadership, and he asked me to do mental health, mental retardation, and substance abuse. It was my pleasure. They were all in the field. The health commissioner at that point, Robert Ross, left. I would say he ran into HIV controversy, and they asked me to be health commissioner. I do have to tell all of you who are trying to figure out what to do with your life, I had never had a course in public health. But he said, I think you can do it. You understand the field. Will you try? And I said, you know, my problem is I haven't learned to say no. I said yes. And I learned a lot about public health. And the magic there was I hadn't been trained to do any one piece of public health, but all of public health. And that made the difference because I could enter with a free mind. 2 notable things. I wasn't a physician, and I was the first woman.
Wow.
First time we broke that public ceiling, and it worked. And I was able to come in with a fresh mind and therefore show that it was an administrative job. I had a medical director I leaned on heavily, but it was an administrative job that needed to be fixed at that point in time. Out of that, we were able to see the problems in the system, and I was able to create CBH, Community Behavioral Health. Create it.
Create CBH.
Create. That was a feat, and you would have to go back in history or look at Mary Hurdick's scrapbook to understand the trauma of creating it. But thanks to Marion Tasco, who is the mentor of all of us, and you were actually an intern, as we created it. From that, we moved from Mayor Rendell to Mayor Street. He created the Office of Social Services, which has had several name changes at that point. But at that point in time, DHS, Homeless, Health Department, there wasn't a behavioral health department then, Recreation, Libraries, and Elderly all reported to me. And prisons. Yes. And the one I had the trouble with prisons. He said, why? I said, why do you give me prisons? It belongs in safety. He says, most of the people in prison are there because of a failure of your department. And I thought about it and said, you're right. So if we're going to clean up prisons, we've got to start with all of the social services. When halfway through, 2 years into the Street administration, Rendell became governor and asked me to come up and run the Department at that point of Human Services. That was basically the top. But remember, I started with, I don't like working for the state. So I had to give it some serious, I forgot a position. After social services, John Street said, will you be managing director?
Right, yes.
And I said, whoa, you've never had a woman managing director in the city before. Do you think you're ready for it? And he said, it doesn't matter. If you want it, you can take it. I said, yes. I also said, Rendell's running for governor. I may switch over. He said, do it. You may change your mind about the state. Being the first woman managing director was also a challenge. The men didn't know what to do with me. They had never had a woman boss before. They were sort of, the first question was, what should we call you? How should we treat you? Your mother, like our mother, your sister? How about treating me just like you treat the men? I got my tennis shoes on, I'm ready to run, and you treat me anything other than a boss? Don't forget, I'm the boss. We had a couple of rounds of this, and after a couple of months, I think they gave up trying to figure out how to have me do something else or sit quietly. I don't do sitting quietly well. From there to the state, as it is Secretary of Human Services, and it was an interesting position because everyone from Donna Cooper to Mike Mash at his time, we were all on one side of the table, and in a fell swoop, we moved to the other side of the table. And it left us with an interesting position at that point, and how do we advocate for things that we're supposed to be more equal about? And I think we all worked it out over the course of the 8 years that Rendell was governor, but I think we all had adjustments to make. But all of us had commitments to the city, and we had to keep that in some level of perspective. But we were all very deeply tied to what happened here and the results. When the Rendell administration was close to over, we had something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime, and that was a black president. You know, in my age group, we just never thought that could happen. So my first comment was, I got to work for him. And I was lucky. I had a choice of actually a couple of high-level jobs in his administration. I chose HUD, primarily because almost so much that undermines our social services system is housing. And I had to figure out why housing wasn't working for all of us, because it's very hard to stabilize housing, to stabilize health without housing. And it seems like without that housing, whether it was a person with disability, whether it was a person with developmental disabilities, whether it was a person with mental health or substance abuse, if we didn't stabilize housing, we weren't going to make progress. So I had to get into housing. And I became one of the senior staff within that administration, and then moved for about a year to the deputy secretary, which even gave me a better purview of what worked and what didn't work in housing. I stayed for the first term. I was hitting 70. I needed to figure out how to slow down a little bit. And yes, I admit I failed, but I tried. But part of what I learned a lot about housing. I do take credit for bringing Kelvin Jeremiah into the city and keeping him. But the key, I still believe, and I'm so admiring your initiative on housing, because if we can solve housing, some of the other things will fall into place. I won't give you at one point, I think Donna Cooper and I looked at each other, because she was in Washington too, and we said, it's time to go home. We had been on the road at that point a little over 10 years, living both in Harrisburg and living in DC, and it was time to come home. We came home, she went to, at that point, PCCY, I retired, woke up one morning and realized I was on 8 boards. And I needed other ways to find ways to support the city, and I try. I would tell you, no matter what, this job it's always been the top of my list. This is where I grew up, this is where I cut my teeth, this is the most important, and I truly believe, if indeed behavioral health can evolve to the senior oversight and help that I think it is here to do, many of our other problems begin to get more in perspective. They don't make them go away, but you get a better perspective on all of these. And whether it is Kensington, whether it's the prison system, whether it is people who are homeless, they all boil down to how you support the social service network. And we know how to do that. I think we need the leadership, and I would tell you that Arthur and I give credit to Arthur, Arthur and I are happy. You have 2 happy campers. And as Crystal knows, and again, thank you, Crystal. Crystal knows we've gone through a lot of people. And sometimes I like them, sometimes Arthur likes them, sometimes no one likes them. But we stuck with it. We stuck with it, and I think now We are happy campers, and it's so nice for me to give her a hug.
Thank you. Give her a round of applause. With that being said, I want to announce that our new commissioner is Kehinde Kenny Solanka. Give her a round of applause. Just for the record, and Estelle, thank you, and I apologize for putting you on the spot, but I really did need you all to understand how significant it was to bring these two subject matter experts together to make this selection. And if anyone has ever been confused about the holistic approach to health, human services, and wellness that you've heard us describe as being long-term care, treatment, and housing, if you listen to what Estelle Richmond said, you will understand why none of it is in isolation. Kenny has over 2 decades of service to Philadelphia and a record of innovation, operational excellence, and an unwavering compassion for the people she serves. Most recently, she served as Senior Director of Operations for Crisis Services at DBHIDS, where she led citywide initiatives, including the implementation of a 988 suicide and crisis lifeline, the expansion of the 24/7 mobile crisis teams, and the launch of Philadelphia's first behavioral health urgent care center. Give that a round of applause, please. And full disclosure, Kenny, I don't know if you remember this, Vanessa and I, when they came in the room, the two of them knew each other. I did not know Kenny prior to this, but I kept staring at her. I said, I know your face. I know your face. So you're famous. You're the lady I've seen on Channel 6. There's a 988 commercial promoting mental and behavioral health services there. And so mental and behavioral health matters to me as mayor and this administration in our city. She will oversee all of DBIS, which includes behavioral health, substance use disorder services, intellectual disability support, early intervention services, and also community behavioral health, CBH, which is the nation's, as we referenced earlier, largest Medicaid managed care organization. This is a big job, an essential job here in our city. And before Kenny comes to the podium, I saw LaVan White, who's also been a shoulder that I've leaned on quite frequently throughout this process. We can't ask Kenny to come up without being intentional about thanking a lady whose service and personal sacrifice to our city means a great deal to me, and that is Dr. Marquita Williams. She and I talked last night. She served as our interim commissioner for the last year. And Dr. Williams' stewardship, it was exemplary on every level, and we thank her for her services. And now, Commissioner, we want to ask that you take it away. Give our new commissioner a round of applause.
Wow. That's a tough act to follow. The mayor and Ms. Estelle Richmond. That's phenomenal. Estelle opened CBH in 1997, and I started at CBH. Nancy pulled me in 1999. And so these are my mentors. These are the women that raised me. So I'm so deeply grateful for you both being here and for your support of my career up until now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am deeply honored, thank you, Crystal, to be asked to serve as Commissioner of the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, or DBHIDS. Our organization is responsible for advancing mental health, substance use, and disability supports and services across the city. I step into this role with humility, a sense of urgency, and a deep commitment to the people of this city. Philadelphia, our city, one Philly, united. Philadelphia is resilient. The people are strong. but we face challenges. And one of the biggest challenges ahead of us is the changing landscape around Medicaid funding. This is a vital lifeline that nearly 50% of Philadelphians depend on for behavioral health care. DBHIDS, our mission is clear. Protect what matters most, people.
That's right.
And their right to accessible, quality behavioral health care. We will do everything to make sure we can meet this mission. Our work now is to make sure that that vision remains a reality for Philadelphia, but we're not starting from scratch. Under Mayor Parker's leadership, that work is already underway. Thank you, Mayor Parker. The city is invested in a broad wellness ecosystem that recognizes how behavioral health connects to safety, housing, and opportunity, and aims to give people a chance to heal, to recover, to thrive, and to belong. We're going to continue to build on the mayor's efforts and the strong foundation that DBHIDS has already laid. We're going to strengthen our community partnerships by creating spaces to listen and engage with the community. We're going to align our provider network, and we're going to continue to ensure that we have care pathways that meet people where they are, at home, in schools, in libraries, in faith spaces, on the block, because that's what we do. The work ahead will not be easy, but it is absolutely critical. The need for behavioral health services does not stop when funding stops. In fact, the need increases. And so we want to show up for our community. We may not have all the answers yet, trust me, we don't, but DBHIDS, many of them here, we have the heart, we have the vision, and we have dedicated people committed to finding creative solutions and innovative solutions. I have worked with many of my colleagues for decades, for years, talented, committed, dedicated people, most of them in this room. And so I know this work is important for all of us. This work matters. So does Philadelphia.
Yes.
Before I wrap up, I want to thank Dr. Marquita Williams, who stepped into this role as interim commissioner 15 months ago. That's how long it took. Thank you, Crystal.
We know.
Just wanted to acknowledge your hard work. And she did a fantastic job keeping the organization moving along seamlessly. And finally, I must thank my family. Dylan is not here, he's my oldest. There he is. And my twins, they are twins just like me, Hunter and Morgan, and their father. These are my people, and without you guys, I would not be standing here. And my work family, you know yourself. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, Kenny, Commissioner, Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, Nancy, and Mary Herdick are looking like proud parents right now. You had to watch their eyes when we were talking about you, but we are really, really excited. Also on today, our next appointment may be a familiar face to Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley, but we are so pleased to welcome her to the Parker administration. Now, full disclosure, she's been at work already, and several of the people that you are going to hear us formally and officially announce, they have already been hard at work, because in terms of the scheduling and us getting here, we needed them to begin to work while we were putting this together. That person that I am referencing is none other than Renee Chenault Fatah. Yes, Renee, we are so excited that she will serve as the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations, as well as of the Philadelphia Commission on Fair Housing. And listen, you can't make this up. When Renee was coming in the building on today, Val Gay and the Sadie T.M. Alexander selection committee. We were just making the announcement that the artists had been chosen, and Sadie T.M. Alexander's historic role with the Commission on Human Relations. Councilmember Rue Landau was there as well. And so, Renee, we are excited that your vast experience in communications, including having served as the weekday news co-anchor for NBC 10 for 25 years. 25 years. But what you may not know is Renee is an experienced lawyer and an advocate as well. During her 40-year career as an attorney, Renee served as the executive director of Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity and an attorney at both the Senior Law Center and a large New York law firm, and as a law clerk for Damon J. Keith, a U.S. Appeals Court judge. How many people knew all of that about Renee Chennault Fattah? Not a whole lot. It's a lot, Renee. The Commission on Human Relations is an important agency in Philadelphia, and it is a frontline commission that is frequently involved in mediating disputes and issues involving human relations, civil rights, and disagreements among communities and individuals in our city. The Parker administration respects and values diversity in Philadelphia. And I, as mayor, I want to make this absolutely clear. I, as mayor, wholeheartedly believe that Renee Chennault Fattah is the right person to lead the Human Relations Commission as well as the Commission on Fair Housing. Renee, please join us and welcome formally to the Parker administration.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. Good afternoon, everyone. Whew. I am so very excited and honored to be a part of Mayor Parker's administration and to be leading the city's civil rights agency. Mayor Parker has made it very clear to me that the workings of the Philadelphia Human Relations Commission and the Fair Housing Commission is a top priority for her. So I have my marching orders. I know that every day I have to be working to make sure that services are provided and that the laws which are enshrined, our city laws, guaranteeing protection for everyone. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the honor today to Sadie T.M. Alexander. As the mayor said, she drafted the legislation in 1951 as part of the Home Rule Charter to create the agency that I'm working for today. And on a really personal note, many years ago, when I was in law school at the University of Pennsylvania Law School, all of us, women of color, we knew about Sadie. It gets even better. When I was sitting in Biddle Law Library, the same place that Sadie sat, and we knew the challenges that she had faced. And I have to tell you, we channeled her. We said to ourselves that if she could endure the slights and the indignities because of her race and her gender, and not just survive, but thrive, well, there was no excuse for us. So to now come full circle to be leading this agency, thank you, Mayor Parker. Thank you.
There may be a reason why, I'm telling you. The next position I am announcing is Renee. Thank you. There may be a reason why. It's Nikki Giovanni. That's a poem, a line in one of her poems. Just full circle just now. Thank you so very much for making that historical connection with Sadie T.M. Alexander. This next position I am announcing is Executive Director of the Office of Immigrant Affairs. Our new Executive Director of OIA is Charlie Ellison. Give Charlie a round of applause. Now, this was a huge feat for us, so where's Vanessa? I'm extremely happy about this, and Sincere Harris. Charlie Ellison joins the Office of Immigrant Affairs from the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, where he served in a strategic communications role. Prior to USCIS, Charlie was an external affairs officer at FEMA, Region 3, right here in Philadelphia. And while at FEMA, he spent much of his time deployed across the country as well as on local incidents, including Philadelphia's COVID-19 response, Pennsylvania's recovery following Hurricane Ida, and serving in support of Operation Allies Welcome. Charlie's public service career started in the United States Army. His perspective on immigration is shaped by the global, ethnic, and linguistic diversity in his home community in South Philly, as well as a global perspective afforded by his military assignments, academic studies, and personal experiences across the globe. I know these are uncertain times for our immigrant community here in Philadelphia. And I want to restate something that you heard me mention during my budget address in March. And that is, there is uncertainty now in the air. People don't know what to expect from their government. Uncertainty can breed fear. And I want the people of Philadelphia and our city employees to hear me, that your city is here to keep you safe and to safeguard your basic rights. Our diversity is literally what makes us one Philly, a united city. I said that in March, and it holds true today. The Office of Immigrant Affairs is here to serve our immigrant community, and we look forward to Executive Director Ellison's leadership. Please give him a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Charlie. So much.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yeah, Madam Mayor, it is great to be here. It is great to be here in service to our city and, importantly, in service to our neighbors. I'll keep this brief because I'm going to say a few things that we already know, but I'm going to quote a few stats that many of us might not already know as well. Here's what we already know. The positive contributions of immigrants are evident in every neighborhood in our city. Every year, thousands of new Americans choose to join us here in Philadelphia, adding to our rich cultural heritage, our talented and dynamic workforce, our commercial landscape, and our linguistic diversity. Every day, immigrants make incredible contributions to our city in the realms of public safety, healthcare, enhancing our quality of life, building our houses, keeping our city moving, growing, thriving, clean and green, and as some would say, getting the job done. Right now, just a few blocks away at our nation's first hospital, a Dominican-born, Philly-trained surgical oncologist is seeing her third or maybe fourth breast cancer patient of the day. In Southwest Philly's 12th Police District, a Liberian-born Philadelphia police officer patrols the community that includes the largest population of Liberian diaspora in this country. A South Korean-born Old City resident, who's an Army pilot, is conducting his pre-flight checks as he readies his Black Hawk helicopter for an emergency response training flight over the skies of Jersey. In South Philly, one of my neighbors, an Albanian-born restaurateur, she's probably in the middle of her lunch rush at her cafe. A few blocks south of there, a Vietnamese American who came to this country in her infancy as a refugee, fleeing oppression in her home country with her parents, tends to a community garden, keeping our city clean and green. In the skies above us right now, an Ecuadorian American pilot with a full flight prepares for a safe and on-time final approach to PHL. And in West Philly, a newly naturalized Philadelphian, originally from Brazil, is hard at work constructing and renovating homes. Each week, several hundred Philadelphians like him take their oath of allegiance, becoming U.S. citizens at naturalization ceremonies right here in our city. USCIS data tells us that some 62,000 Philadelphians are eligible right now to naturalize as U.S. citizens. And while naturalization and citizenship are but one of the many pathways on an immigration journey for residents of our city, the most important fact is that census data shows that immigration is driving our city's growth. With this data and our city's long history in mind, the Office of Immigrant Affairs and all of our city agencies remain committed to our vital mission, supporting immigrant communities and ensuring opportunities to fully contribute, grow, learn, and thrive in our city as neighbors. From our robust language access program under my office to maintaining our certified welcoming city accreditation from Welcoming America, and importantly, to our deep partnerships with the array of community leaders and immigrant-serving organizations throughout our city, my vision for this office is the successful inclusions of immigrants into civic, economic, and cultural life of our city. I look forward to highlighting the essential role that immigrants have played, continue to play, and will play for a long time right here at home in Philadelphia.
Thank you so much. You are amazing. You know that?
I'm so happy to be here.
You better not say a word. I can't help myself. For those of you who wanted to know why we didn't move faster, we were waiting for Charlie. That's who we've been looking for. Give him another round of applause, please. And we're not done yet. We have other appointments to announce here today. Individuals ascending to senior positions and posts within the Parker administration, and we want the people of Philadelphia to know who they are. As I call out your name, please step forward so everyone in this room and who's watching us via a streaming mechanism or Channel 64, we want them to see who you are. Donna Jackson Stevens is our new interim chief for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer here in the city of Philadelphia. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Donna has a 20-year distinguished career as a leader in diversity, equity, and inclusion space, including experience in addressing disparities in the Texas Child Protection System, growing workforce development programs, and launching a municipal learning ecosystem. Now, most recently, Donna served as the Vice President of Aviation at the Philadelphia International Airport, where she managed the airport's integrated DEI and small business development programs. She has a wide array of experience in advancing institutional equity in various systems, including human services, human resources education, and government. Now, a word about our DEI work in the city, because I suspect some of you may have some questions about it during the Q&A. I want to be very clear about this. The ongoing work of ensuring that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a value and practice here in the Parker administration, it will never stop. I want to be absolutely clear about that. External forces and factors, we will never allow ourselves to be distracted by noise. I just want to be absolutely clear about that so no one walks out of this room not understanding where the Parker administration stands when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It matters to our administration. I want you to, when you get a moment, take a look around. And think about our cabinet and our executive team. When you look at my chief of staff, Tiffany Thurman, our chief deputy mayors, Sincere Harris and Vanessa Garrett Harley, I don't think any credible individual can seriously doubt our ironclad commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Donna, we are so happy and we are excited about your being a part of our team. Please give Donna a round of applause. Thank you, Donna. Thank you very much. Greg Phillips is the new Chief Operations Officer at our Philadelphia International Airport. It's been a while since we saw each other in an interview, right? Greg was selected following a national search and is a distinguished airport executive with a track record of successful airport leadership across a range of airports. Most recently served as Director of Aviation at the Colorado Springs Airport. And prior to that, he served as Executive Director and Airport Director at several other airports in the western part of the United States, including Colorado and Washington State. Greg also has had a key management role, and this was very impressive, at the Federal Aviation Administration during development of the Denver International Airport. Our airport's CEO, Atif Saeed, who does such a terrific job running the airport, he said this, and this is important to know what people say about you when you're not in the room, Greg. He said, "We're excited to recruit a leader with deep experience in all facets of airport operations and management. Greg has proven experiences managing teams and projects while focusing on exceptional customer service and building positive stakeholder relations. And Greg, I have to say this now, you all are getting better, and don't forget about those bathrooms when you get down there at that airport. Give them a round of applause, please. Next, where's my Elizabeth Lankenau? Elizabeth, come on over here, please. Thank you. Liz is a longtime Philadelphian and is a graduate. Now listen, you know when people have been here, when they're lifelong Philadelphians. She is a graduate of the 248th class of Central High School in Philadelphia. Because, Girls High and Central, they acknowledge themselves by their class numbers. Her dedication to public service came from her parents, both of whom were librarians at the Free Library. Liz is a certified city planner with more than 25 years of public and private sector experience. She has served with the Philadelphia Historical Commission, the Water Department, and the city's Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems. And since March of 2023, she has served as an interim director of the city's Office of Sustainability. All of the work led by the Office of Sustainability is in sync with our vision for the safest, cleanest, greenest big city in the nation with access to economic opportunity for all. And Chief Deputy Mayor Cecily Harris, Liz, she reminds us that this means securing more renewable energy to reduce energy costs and decrease air pollution, expanding the clean workforce economy that represents the demographic makeup of Philadelphia, creating economic opportunity for all, and working with communities in flood-prone neighborhoods like Eastwick and heat-prone neighborhoods like Strawberry Mansion, and improving resilience at the community level. Liz, we are very excited. That was 2023. I didn't get here to 2024, but don't talk about you being interim or acting anymore. She is our permanent director of the Office of Sustainability. Thank you. Next is Sydney Irvin Descent. Sydney. Thank you. Chief of Children and Family Support Services in the Office of Children and Families. Sydney's portfolio includes the following areas: career-connected learning, C2L, out-of-school time services, that's the OST, and the Department of Human Services and Education Support Center. Sydney, do you look and see Vanessa, Garrett Harley, and Kimberly Ali? They're smiling like ear to ear. Sydney has a long career in social services dating back to 2006. Her most recent position was Deputy Director of Turning Points for Children, where she provided executive-level oversight for a range of prevention services for children and families in Philadelphia. Sydney, we are excited to welcome you. That human services portfolio, our children and families, is extremely important, and we're proud to have you be a part of the team. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. He's a quiet storm, the brains behind the operation. He was so helpful. I said, well, who did this? And he said, well, that was Mark Dodds. Mark Dodds is now our Deputy Director of the Department of Housing and Community Development. Mark, come on up here. Thank you. He is responsible for overseeing daily operations, including directing the development and implementation of affordable housing programs and services. His work involves extensive engagement and collaboration with partner organizations and community members to ensure that programs are effective and goals are met. Prior to being named deputy, Mark served as the leader of policy and programs at DHCD. The deputy director position is a pivotal role in our $2 billion home initiative to build, preserve, and restore 30,000 units of housing, as well as provide leadership in ongoing programmatic operations, including oversight of major federal grant funding. We want to say welcome to you, Mark, and Mary Herdick, one of my other mothers, is here right now. Mary, you know I'm old-fashioned. I get to know people when you see them in a foxhole. That's when you really get to see what people are made of. And when we were in the middle of working to get our home program across the finish line, Jesse, who leads the department for us, his team, but Mark was an essential part of that. I want you to know I'm grateful, and I thank you so very much for being a part of the team. Leah Uko, you've seen her. Again, some people have been working, and you say, well, I've been seeing somebody around. Leah Uko, press secretary, deputy communications director, the mayor's office of communications. Now, someone is looking, saying, I remember seeing her too on television. You would be right. Leah joins the Parker administration following a decorated career in broadcast on-air journalism, where most recently she reported for NBC 10 and actually covered the early days of the Parker administration. Leah is now our new press secretary, on the front lines and handling the news media in the Office of Communications under our living legend in communications and our director. And I put my life in his hands all the time, and that's my Joe Grace. Give it up for Joe Grace. Come up here, Joe, come up. Leah, we just crossed the line. He's going to be so angry with us now. When we were going through the process of establishing the role, and Joe said Leah is the right person. She will do an amazing job as our press secretary and being on the front line. Joe, I want you to know I think you made an amazing decision, and Leah, we are proud to have you to be a part of the team. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, we have Nicole Morris. Come on up, Nicole. Nicole Morris. Hey, you. Nicole will be our Deputy Director of Strategic Partnerships and Chief of Staff for the Office of Human Resources. Where's Candy? Candy, come on over. Nicole Morris has had a distinguished 25-year career as an attorney, where she worked both in government and private practice. She worked in the city's law department from 2007 to 2025, and her most recent position was as chief of the Labor and Employment Unit, where she advised human resources and management on a wide range of labor and employment law issues, including anti-discrimination and harassment, wage and hour, and leaves of absence. Ms. Morris has also helped draft and implement a variety of workplace policies and trainings, and she's defended the city in employment-related litigation, agency matters, and arbitrations. Nicole, I know the law department was saying, she's going where? But we want to thank you so very much for continuing your service with the City of Philadelphia and working with our Office of Human Resources in this key role. Please give Nicole a round of applause. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You're counting on me. You hear me? Okay, so now we're ready to take some questions. Where's Sean? Is he still here? Sean, you're first. Yeah, Sean just asked a question about Charlie Ellison and the Office of Immigrant Affairs, and what was it about him that made him the right person, especially, Sean, since it was such an extensive search. One, our eyes are wide open, and we are very cognizant about the uncertainty that currently exists right now in our nation. However, you heard me say maybe about a year ago now that I will not allow politics or any election to interfere with what I am supposed to do, my assignment as mayor of the city of Philadelphia. But having someone who understands the importance of an immigration leader having relationships and knowledge of the sphere at the federal, state, and local level, and not just with government, but with private sector organizations, along with our nonprofit and our CBOs. That was extremely important, and Charlie understood that across the board. In addition to that, sometimes, communications, you have to understand your assignment and know the work that you need to do. I don't know if you noticed it, but Charlie's like an amazing communicator, and he has clearly mastered that, again, federal, state, and local level. So sometimes it's not what you say to someone you're working with or you're trying to extract services from. You have to know what to say. You have to know the right questions in order to ask to yield the results that you desire. And so we have a great deal of faith, and I want to say again to Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, we thank you so very much for all of your hard work here. Next question. Oh, I love you all today. Thank you so much. No more questions. Joe's like, no, I don't want to do that. If anybody has any questions, I'm ready. Joe's going to say, you went through that too fast. You don't know I get a tongue lashing every time we finish this. You got to do this, you got to do that. That's what a good comms person does. Joe, is this all right, Joe? Have I given time? Okay, all right. Thank you all so much. Estelle Richmond, come on up here, please.